What's going on, everybody? If Facts Not Included, I'm your host, Peter Cabranes, and welcome to another movie review on a Monday. Now, of course, you may notice this might be another one of those episodes where I'm currently driving, so it might be one of those episodes where you might hear some extra sounds, some extra noises and whatnot. Don't be alarmed. Nothing to worry about there. Just me driving a car. I am driving safely, so don't worry about that. All is good here. So today we're going to be talking about Vice. Vice is a movie that came out sometime in December of 2018. So I did kind of mess up on it not even being on my top 10 of 2018. I had not seen it at that point, and it wasn't even in my honorable mentions because I keep forgetting it's a 2018 movie. I kind of forgot about that. So I hope you guys understand that with this review. Oh boy, it did deserve to be in my, at least my honorable mentions. Not sure if it would have been in my top 10. I think it might be if I was to really look at my list. So with that being said, let's get into this review of Vice. So like I said, we're going to be sitting down and talking about Vice, an Adam McKay film. And if you know anything about Adam McKay, you know for a fact that this man knows funny. He knows jokes. He knows comedy. He knows about how to make an audience just burst into laughter. But yet, in his last two films, we're talking about The Big Short and Vice, he's been able to not only take that comedy and change it up into a next level, but he's been able to add a set of seriousness to his filmmaking. And with that being said, we have a film like Vice. First of all, let's just say this. The cast of Vice deserves possibly an Oscar nomination as an ensemble cast. Let's be honest. They are, on their own, some of the best actors in the business, to be honest, especially in the given situation they were in. I don't know if that made sense, but in the situation they were in, they were phenomenal. You have Christian Bale, you have Amy Adams, you have Steve Carell. I forget the guy who played George W. Bush for a second, but Sam Rockwell. Unbelievable. If anything, part of me wishes Sam Rockwell gets an Oscar nomination. Is that weird? Should I be saying that? I mean, obviously his George W. Bush wasn't the best W you've ever heard. I might do a better W than Sam Rockwell, but you knew right off the bat when watching it, you knew you were listening to, and you knew you were watching George W. Bush. You weren't watching Sam Rockwell. It was one of those feelings. And the same thing goes for every single character portrayed by these amazing actors in this movie. You do not see Dick Cheney's wife. You see Amy Adams. You do not see Steve Carell. You see... did I say you see Amy Adams? I mean, you don't see Amy Adams. You see Dick Cheney's wife. You don't see you don't see Steve Carell. You see Donald Rumsfeld, and so on and so forth. And of course, you do not see Dick. You do not see. Oh my God, I'm messing up on this whole analogy here. You do not see Christian Bale. You 100% see, witness, and feel Mr. Dick fucking Cheney. Apparently, according to Christian Bale, he spent a good time before the movie, obviously, gaining weight. He gained about 40 pounds for this role, and he claims that he was doing it mainly eating donuts, or at least that's how he started doing a lot of it. I mean, I eat donuts. I don't usually gain 40 pounds from it, though. So, he must have been eating bushels and bushels of donuts. Sorry about that. I kind of had a little technical issue there. I'm still driving, still going. I had a little phone call, so I had to make sure I could have dealt with that. So, as I was saying, he was seemed to have been very proud of the role um, that he has created for himself. Um, he ate a lot of food. He got really fat, and now if you saw him the other day at the Golden Globes, he is extremely skinny again and as British as always. But that's the fascinating thing about him. The fascinating thing about Christian Bale is that he could put on a performance unlike any other. In some cases, unlike any other actor can ever do, and can just kill it. I absolutely love him. I really hope he gets nominated for an Oscar for this. Now, be that as it may, I'm saying that without knowing or having a list of the movies this year or strong performances on the top of my head right now. But I know this for a fact that I loved him as Vice President Dick Cheney, quote unquote, President of the United States at that time. This movie does a lot of fascinating things. If you've seen The Big Short, you are aware that in that movie, Adam McKay used a lot of stock footage and B-roll. Possibly he got from other news sources, Getty Images, or whoever he may have. Those are the type of images he was using in The Big Short. And he uses them to give you an insight of what it was like during the time period for which the movie's taking place. For instance, The Big Short, stock market crash of 2007, 2008. So you have he's using images like that for Dick Cheney's vice presidency and what the country was going through at the time in 2000. Not just during his vice presidency, but also during his tenure in Washington. So he does that very well. Something that confused me throughout until I realized, we all realized what had happened. The gentleman that's narrating this film, I had no idea who the hell he would have been or could have been. When he said we are related, but I'll get to that later, I was very confused. I was like, wait, maybe Dick Cheney had a son out of some sort of way. He had a son. I was confused by all this. Who's this guy? Who's this mysterious man? Of course, we later find out that he's one of the recipients, one of the donors of Dick Cheney's heart. Now, I haven't been able to look into it and whether or not this is true. Like, did Dick Cheney receive a heart from a dead soldier? And if so, was that dead soldier gunned down in this? In a car accident, in a hit and run, in a sense. Is that what happened? I'm curious. I haven't really looked at 100% of the history that Adam McKay discusses in this movie. We are aware, of course, of the atrocities that Dick Cheney's the commander of, the architect of a lot of these atrocities that occurred in the Bush administration, circa 2001, 2003, and stuff like that. Again, I don't know enough to say that the history that McKay lays down bit by bit is exactly the way it went down. And even McKay, he kind of even lets you know. But the narrator says, there are moments he says, we wouldn't know exactly what was going on through the Cheney's heads at that point, or through Rumsfeld, or so on and so forth. So McKay's aware of that. But again, is it? We know now that Colin Powell has extremely regretted the fact that he did that UN speech. He hates. He calls it, his lowest point in his career. Yes, we know that, and they even mentioned that specific sentence in the movie. But did he feel such regret prior to going in? Do you know what I'm saying? Was he that hesitant to even speak these words? We know about declassified information that came out at the time, stating that a lot of the And again, McKay, this is partly what McKay mentions in the movie, that a lot of the information they were getting, the intelligence they were getting, was not 100% accurate or should have been even trusted. They do touch upon that in this movie. But the question is, I'm curious, and we're probably never going to know this because we weren't there, but were the conversations that were had in this movie, were those the same or similar conversations that were had in the Oval Office or any sort of, any of the locations that these conversations occurred in this film? I absolutely was confused and kind of still am. Maybe I didn't quite pick it up. Maybe it was a look into the psyche of Dick Cheney and what is important to him. But those moments that each time McKay would cut to water or fish or Dick Cheney fishing himself, I was always very confused by that. I feel stupid for not knowing exactly what he was trying to convey there. My only inclination is that he was trying to show us that, at the end of the day, this is what Dick Cheney is doing. He may have done all these horrendous things to individuals or to, nations or whatnot. But at the end of the day, he's just a man that's fishing in his backyard. And that's kind of symbolic and powerful in a sense. Without getting extremely political, because again, this is Facts Not Included, the podcast, and we don't talk too much about politics, if at all, ever, on here. And if that's something you guys want us to touch upon, let us know. But I mean, I feel like the world today that we live in is so polarizing, and it's strange because of the things that were occurring during that administration. Would it have been given a hard pass like it was if it was today? I say yeah, because some of the things that are occurring now, but again, I don't want to get into that. But that's, in a sense, any administration's issues that they have to deal with is what's considered too far and what's considered not far enough, right? So, without going into whether or not the Iraq War, the war in Afghanistan were worth it or not worth it, the fact of the matter is thousands upon thousands of American lives were lost, and more. So, if I'm not mistaken, innocent civilians were lost during these wars. So that's something to look at when going into this film. I heard someone saying this interesting tidbit. If you're a Republican, you're going to go into this movie saying, "Wow, what a great comedy this was." But if you're someone who's a liberal or progressive or something like that, you will say, "Wow, what a serious and dark movie this was." Yes, of course, we'll see both sides. You'll see the comedic side and maybe the serious side. But if you're a liberal, you're going to see the seriousness stronger. And if you're a right-wing conservative, you're going to see the comedy. I suppose there's some legs there with that. I'm not entirely sure if that's true or not, but I could agree in a sense with that, I suppose. But I saw a lot of both. I mean, as a film goer, as someone who watches movies on a daily basis, or whatever, and understands what it's like to be subjective in my own viewings, and understand that life has nuance and such. I was able to see all of it. And it's a really good, funny movie. It's really good. And it's also very serious at the same time. There are moments, yes, where Christian Bale plays Dick Cheney for comedic effect. But I think that's us looking at it in the lens of he's a strange man. So was he really playing it for comedic? I'm curious. I want to watch that again and pick that up. Was Bale purposely acting in a comedic way in a certain scene, or was that my lens? Was that my viewing of me going, "Oh, that's funny," oh, good job, Bale. There, I mean, not so much the writing, but so much the performance. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff like that. It's a very serious movie, very funny movie at the same time. I love what Adam McKay is doing with his career, really. I appreciate the fact that he's not doing Will Ferrell films. You know what I mean? He's not. I mean, I love Anchorman, love Talladega Nights. Those are some funny movies, and whatever else he's done in the past. But the fact that you've done The Big Short now, and now that you've done Vice, what's next? What is he going to tackle next? I mean, for some people, the obvious choice is probably a Trump movie, and what the is going on with this presidency. Is it outlandish? Is it not? He could tackle that in a very interesting light. Or maybe he does an Obama movie, and maybe Obama's not, for some people, he's not going to be viewed as pristine as he is for some. And we all know he kind of isn't. He's got some dark sides, of course, as any president would. But I would like to see an Obama movie. I would like to see a Trump film. What is there? Or does he go out of the realm and does something with The Big Short? Big Short wasn't extremely political in the sense of it wasn't about a politician, but it dealt with politics. He does mention what the right did and what the left did in this crisis that we dealt with in the mid 2000s. Late 2000s. And so, does he touch upon something similar to that? I have no idea. I'm very interested in what's next for Adam McKay. And I'm very interested in what's next for Christian Bale. I'm not too sure what his next movies are. So the performances here by Steve Carell and what's his face? I keep forgetting his name. Sam Rockwell, like I said earlier. Phenomenal performances. Steve Carell, it's funny because I was actually watching a 2016 interview of Donald Rumsfeld when he was on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert. Steve Carell looked exactly like Rumsfeld in those later, in all of the whole movie, but especially in those later years when he was older as Secretary of Defense. He looks spot on like Rumsfeld. The spots, the hanging jawline and whatnot, the hair. I wouldn't really know who was who. Maybe the makeup department of this film. If anything, now that we're in Oscar season, and the fact of the matter is that there's buzz all around. What does this mean for this movie? Who's getting nominated? What's getting nominated? I'll tell you this. From what my understanding is, it's the best original screenplay, right? I mean, not that it's the best original. Sorry, it's an original screenplay, if I'm not mistaken. It's not adapted from anything. It's very well possible it could maybe get adapted for that. Editing. There's some editing here that's unusual for some. There's also, of course, the acting here. And possibly even the directing. I mean, a lot of this does stem from McKay's mind and his love of what he did here in this movie. Best Picture, the fact that they picked 10, it's possible. I could see it. I could see it being nominated in the Oscars. Will it? Yeah, I see the Oscars nominating this movie only because, one, it's a period piece. It's biographical. It's dealing with a right-wing conservative, and as you know, according to certain sides, Hollywood is filled with liberals. So it's very well possible that they will nominate this movie for a Best Picture there. But I do think Christian Bale deserves a nomination for Best Actor. Sam Rockwell and Steve Carell, I pick either one of them, man, for Best Supporting. They deserve that. Now, I don't know if Amy Adams' performance is considered a supporting role or a lead role. So that's kind of tricky there. because there was there was quite a number of fantastic leading ladies this year. If it's a leading role, maybe not, but I could see her filling the supporting role nom. I felt like it was more a supporting character. I mean, this clearly was a Dick Cheney film, so I think they would be supported. Yeah. So the Oscars, the nominations come out January 22nd, just a few days from now, not too far. So I'm curious as to who's going to be nominated. I mean, guys, overall, I absolutely loved this movie, and I think it was a load of fun. Yes, it was quite disgusting reliving some of these moments that actually occurred in this man's life, and the fact that the Constitution, or at least some lawyers feel that the Constitution allows for some of these things to occur, to happen. That being said, the movie's also very funny. It's a certain humor that maybe not everybody would quite get, but it's humor nonetheless. What would I rate this movie out of 10? A solid 9 or 9 plus out of 10. I'm not sure exactly where, but it's up there. It's a 9 point something for sure. I had a lot of fun with it. Yeah, I was really happy. And I showed it in 2019, so again, sorry for thinking it was a 2019 movie. Of course, it was released in 2018. So, oh, wow, all these cars trying to... I'm driving, like, above the speed limit by, like, a mile or two per hour over. But these guys, they want to go, like, 30 over the speed limit. It's pretty crazy out here on the highway. So anyway, I've been Peter Cabranes. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. And remember to keep watching and looking out for stuff that we're dropping on all over our social media platforms. Remember, every Friday is a Tangent Friday episode. This Friday is going to be a top 10 most anticipated films of 2019. Of 2019. So I hope you guys enjoy that. Look forward also. I'm going to Disney. I'm going to Disney World in the next couple of days. Actually a week or so. So look forward to a Disney episode. I'm going to be going full balls deep into the world of Disney World and Epcot and whatnot, wherever I'm going to be going. So look forward to that. That being said, there is going to be an episode, I'm pretty sure, the day that that I'm on the flight, because I'm on a flight on a Friday. So pretty sure we'll have an episode out for you that day. If not, expect one at some point that day. If anything, I might do one as I'm in Disney. I should be landing in Disney around the time an episode drops. So who knows? Stay tuned for that. I'll keep you guys posted on that. Anyway, yeah. Hope you guys enjoy this episode. Like I said, Facebook, Twitter, all that stuff. Anywhere you can get podcasts. Anyway, peace out. Bye-bye.